Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm going to jump off my normal platform here for just a little bit. I When I wake up every day, well, every day is different. Our country is such and so far in the toilet. I've got 10 gazillion freaking questions I want answers to. All right, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to bring up a news clip. Something about, well, they may have impeachment reasons to get Joe Biden out. All right. One question I have before I roll this is why did it only take 2 weeks to impeach Donald Trump? And 6 months later, another week to impeach Trump a second time. I don't get it. And they're having a hard time trying to impeach this idiot. All right. Well, anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and roll this, and then I'll bitch a little bit more at the end of it. All right. Here we go.
Well, hello, this is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner here with my co-host Emily Campagno. And joining us today, Fox News contributor and board-certified physician Dr. Nicole Saphier, former RNC Deputy Communications Director and Vice President of COIN, Cassie Smedley, and former New York Congressman and gubernatorial candidate Lee Zeldin. He came so close here in New York and changed the game for a lot of Republicans. Great to have you. We begin with the House's investigation into the Biden family's business dealings reaching a new level now. An impeachment inquiry could be next. Hunter Biden's former business partner, Devon Archer, also reportedly his bestie, is now set to be interviewed by the House Oversight Committee next Monday. He reportedly plans on telling lawmakers that Hunter Biden put his father and then Vice President Joe Biden on speakerphone with business associates at least 24 calls. But remember, President Biden swore he had no knowledge of Hunter Biden's business dealings and claimed he never spoke to his son on the matter.
I did not know he was on the board of that company.
I've never discussed my business or their business, my sons or daughters.
I never discussed a single thing with my son about anything having to do with Ukraine.
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
But as the story has evolved and investigations, so has the White House's response. Just yesterday, Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre seemingly offered a nuanced, different answer. She didn't even answer the question that was asked. Watch.
I've been asked this question a million times. The answer is not going to change. The answer remains the same. The president was never in business with his son. I just don't have anything else to add.
Notice she only said President Biden was never in business with Hunter. She didn't mention anything about knowledge or involvement in Hunter's business dealings. Knowledge, which the president said he had none of. She skipped that part. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is weighing in on the Republican Biden investigation, and he thinks the probe could result in an impeachment inquiry.
This president has also used something we have not seen since Richard Nixon, used the weaponization of government to benefit his family and deny Congress the ability to have the oversight. I believe we will follow this all the way to the end, and this is going to rise to an impeachment inquiry the way the Constitution tells us to do this, and we have to get the answers to these questions.
Lee Zeldin, is he on target with that?
Yeah, the business is Joe Biden. So this family business, which is corrupt at its core, doesn't pass any smell tests. Joe Biden can't say that he doesn't know what his son is up to. The business is Joe Biden. Why was Hunter Biden hired by Burisma and these other places in the first place? Why is all this money flowing to the Biden family? It is because of Joe Biden. I think that this is one of those potential dam-breaking moments. If you're going to have a House committee, this is a far cry from, Jerry Nadler and Adam Schiff being in charge of committees. You now have Republicans investigating and Devon Archer coming. If the committee's doing a good job asking the questions and you're getting good, tight answers, you might have a lot of progress going, and you're seeing more of the mainstream media outside of it. Fox has been covering this the whole time. Even others who have been on the other side trying to cover for this, now they're starting to recognize we can't avoid this any longer.
Well, you can't, because you have multiple whistleblowers. You have, you know, the FBI document says that there are 17 tape recordings. And we haven't heard them as a public, but there is a build of evidence. And Emily, when you see that sort of thing and you're investigating, flip side, your job is to hold the president accountable in a political stance, which really is what impeachment has become. What do you make of this next move, potentially, by McCarthy?
I think to Lee's point, it's absolutely the natural next step. I worry for the Fourth Estate's coverage of it. I worry whether the average American has true access and true insight into the evidence that we've been presented with so clearly for so long. And I think that that's where the politics come in the voting sense. It worries me that this administration continues to get away with obfuscating exactly what this whole issue has been from the beginning, which is selling the president and then vice president and access to him. And for a quick moment, if I may, just to focus on Hunter Biden's artwork, you know, this is exactly the frankly nefarious, but also, again, that opaque aspect, which is what was so troubling to the American people to begin with. And yet this administration said, oh, hey, there's going to be no problem whatsoever. Every purchase will be behind closed doors. But as a former advisor said for the Republican Party, well, people don't buy art to hang in closets. They buy it to hang on the wall, meaning they show off who they bought it from. We've recently learned that Elizabeth Naftali, a real estate investor and philanthropist in Los Angeles, purchased one of Hunter Biden's artworks. 8 months after his first show, she was appointed to a very prestigious commission by President Biden. We don't know when the details were of when she bought it. She was recommended, they said, by Pelosi. But the point is the questions it raises, the clear questions about conflict of interest and the influence peddling. And now that the questions are in the millions and the phone calls are at 24, the sheer volume is exhausting. And that's why this impeachment, that's why the natural evolution, the transparency is so crucial.
It's hard for us to ignore, Emily, when someone shows us who they are. And that's exactly, I mean, if you think back to that 60 Minutes interview where Hunter Biden did not deny using his dad's name to go forth in life, he told us who he is. They've shown us who they are. Now it's time to take them up on that offer of evidence.
Yeah, it's like everyone else has been covering up for them while they've been showing us who they are. And now the people who've been covering up are like, okay, well, we're kind of out of places to cover up for you. And the dam is breaking. I think that's a good point. And while some would say, you know, the Democrats are trying to say, oh, an impeachment proceeding would be a distraction, but the American people deserve this transparency. We're glad we're getting it in the Oversight Committee. Thank God Republicans have at least one arm of the legislative branch right now. Otherwise, who knows what Hunter Biden would be doing right now? Because the bigger picture of this is, what position does that put President Biden in and our country in when he's out there negotiating on our behalf on the global stage?
Yeah.
We're compromised potentially, because who does he owe what to whom?
Well, right now, there's a war going on between Ukraine and Russia. And a lot of the dealings that have been reported and what Republicans have unearthed have been dealing specifically with that country, and Hunter Biden sitting on a board in one of their premier energy companies with no matching resume to have that kind of a job. So look at where we are with Ukraine today. Another 400 million went out the door. We're not getting the tick-tock on what we're spending on that war right now. So you've got questions for a lot of reasons, but where is the president on Ukraine?
Well, that's a great question. And all he continues to say is that we are going to continue to support Ukraine. He's even breaking with other nations in some of the things that he's sending to Ukraine that, you know, some people are like, well, we wouldn't recommend doing that, but that he's doing that. And he's losing some Democratic support because of that. But I want to go back to what Emily said. She said the evidence when it comes to, you know, the shady dealings of Hunter Biden, I mean, they're clear. I mean, they've continued to build up. But think about the press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre. She has such contempt for the American people. The way she talks to us, her constant sighing and eye rolling. I've been asked this question so many times, and my answer doesn't change. Well, yes, it does. And where's the journalistic integrity of the other people in the media saying your answer has changed and the American people deserve to hear? Anyone who is crying for President Trump to be impeached because of the conversation with Zelensky and interference should be decrying the same thing when it comes to President Biden. And if they're not being loyal and they're not being honest to themselves.
Well, yesterday, I didn't realize it, but my tweet was in real time in watching her. And others pointed out, why isn't Harris Faulkner in that room? And I said, well, because I'm in my office in New York, but I can see from here that something migrated in her answers.
All right. You know, 10,000 questions come to mind. Once again, like I said in the beginning, why did it only take 2 weeks to impeach Trump? But it's taken a gazillion years to impeach Biden. Is it because his name is Biden and he has all these connections? I don't know. That's what we want answers to. And I know they have them. They're just not letting them out. All right. They've even got KJP, the press secretary, lying for them, covering up, or not answering questions that should be answered. And I think on her part, the reason she does it, she's getting paid a gazillion freaking dollars to keep her mouth shut and avoid the questions. And on top of that, she's a lesbian. Okay? The Democrats, the left, they're for the lesbians. Okay, well, why not? Why not go along with it? All right? And Hunter's artwork that he sold a painting for, like, I don't know, I think it was $75,000. You know something? My dog could have painted a picture better than that was that he sold for $75,000. That's bullshit. Okay? This whole Biden thing, they need to go ahead and jump in. All right? And one more thing. Hunter Biden made a plea deal for his taxes, and I think it was the gun thing. But, you know, he went for a plea deal. If you go for a plea deal, you are guilty. All right? Bottom line, you're guilty. All right? He said, okay, well, give me a lesser sentence, and I'll go ahead and say, yeah, I did it. Okay? Well, he did do it. All right? Simple. So, why are they not going further into it? They know he's guilty. They know he's guilty. And whether or not the statute of limitations ran out on the ones that he was almost charged for, the ones that are still valid, why aren't they doing something about that? Okay, I mean, it's a simple thing. If it were me, okay, if I owe the IRS $5,000, they're going to come banging on my door or sending me nasty letters and gonna freeze my bank account. So why don't they freeze his bank account? Why don't they freeze Joe Biden's bank account? All right, and let's see where that goes. Anyway, I'm done with pissing and moaning at this point, but I'm going to get back to you. There's more to come. All right, so guys, I appreciate you stopping in, and I appreciate you listening to it. All right, so like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video. So with that being said, you guys, see ya.